Hey guys, coming to you from my dining room here, and I've been working on a little project tonight, so I thought I'd let you watch along just in case you want to give it a try too. What I'm working on is actually a steam-powered boat, and it's kind of a fun little project. So first thing I'm going to do is just kind of show you some of the materials you're going to need to do this. First thing you're going to need is a piece of foam board that you can get just about anywhere, and that's what I'm going to use to actually make the boat out of, and maybe a couple scraps of wood because that comes in handy. This is some 1/4 inch soft copper tubing, and 1/8 inch is better, but 1/4 inch is all that I could get tonight, so I'm going to go ahead and try to make that work. We'll see how well that works out. And then I have these little candles. They actually call them tea lights, but basically it's just a little candle inside of an aluminum cup, and that's what we're going to use for our heat source to make the steam. And then you know, some duct tape, just once you get the boat together, just to fill in the seams, that kind of stuff. And then maybe a glue gun. I got this multi-temp glue gun just to glue everything up. And you're going to need one of these little X-Acto knives or something similar to be able to cut the poster board when you put the boat together. But that's really about it, except for, you know, I might do a few things to it just to kind of make it a little more fancy, you know. What I've done here is I've taken some of that 1/4 inch tubing and I just bent some spirals into here, and this is actually where the steam is going to be produced because we're actually going to put the heat source underneath those coils. Alright, now like I said, if you can get 1/8 inch tubing, that's much better because you can bend a much tighter spiral, which will get it more centered over the heat source. Okay, and typically what you do with that 1/8 inch tubing is you just have a single candle right here in the middle of the boat, and then this coil will be right over that, like so. And but in this case, since the tubing is a little bigger, I actually took 2 of those candles, just kind of smashed them together there, and I got the width just right so that this coil will fit one side of the coil over each wick there. So it's actually going to have dual power sources. And I'm hoping that even though this tubing's a little bigger, with 2 flames, it'll heat up in a decent amount of time. What I've done now, in addition to that, is I started to build a simple little boat here, okay? And all I did was take that foam board, like I said, that you can get at any department store, and I kind of got an idea of how big I wanted the boat to be just by laying the coil set up here in the boat and getting an idea of how long that was going to be, and then I knew how wide my candles were, so that kind of determined the width, okay? And then once I had a general idea of the size, I could start constructing it. All right. Now, like I said, these tubes are going to need to go through this back panel, this transom. All right. There's just going to be 2 little holes, and you're just going to shove them tightly through there. And so what it's going to do is then they'll go through that and then curve down just below the water level so that they can pulse in the water. And like I said, actually drive water out and bring water back in when it's running. Okay. And as far as the boat design, it's just really simple. I just made a flat bottom boat this time. So in my case, I'm going to put a piece of wood in the bottom just because I can actually screw this coil down to the wood and make it very stable. And I can also affix these candles to that piece of wood. And as an added benefit, the weight in the bottom of the boat should produce a lower center of gravity, which will make it a little more stable. Okay. Now, once I knew the size of the coils, the size of the piece of wood I wanted to use, it was pretty easy as far as just kind of tracing out the dimensions. And then once I made the slits in the poster board, then obviously it'll fold pretty easily. Okay, so then it's just a matter of like folding the boat up, and then up here you're going to have the angle pieces. Obviously, it's hard to do with one hand, but so that's going to create your hole up front, and then like I said, these 2 panels and this back panel are going to create the rear of your boat, the transom here, like so. And I just put a little angle on it just to make it interesting. Okay, and then I'm going to glue all that up, fix the motor in there, and then you can get as fancy as you want to be. I mean, you can put a front deck on it, you know, a big cabin, whatever you want to do. But anyway, I'll come back once I get a little further along, and it'll start making a lot more sense. So. Alright, now you can kind of see how it's starting to come together. You see we got the tubes coming out the back here through the transom. and they're going to be just below the water level, and it looks like I'm going to have to bend them down a little bit further. I'm probably going to go down and then back just to get nice forward propulsion there. But as you can see, all I'm going to do is screw this down into that board, and then these coils are going to be right over top of those candles, so that's pretty nice. And then it's just a matter of finishing out the boat so that it looks a little better.